Hello there guys and welcome back to a brand new video. Now this video is going to be done in two parts. The first part is going to be me talking about the new September community calendar, and the second part is going to be me talking over this new Clone Commando community transmission. So before dissecting the community calendar, I just want to kind of go through a few things that I found a little bit disappointing this month. The first thing is that there's some news regarding the Luke skin. So the skin will come into the game this month with the September update. However, the actual event itself, instead of being in September, will actually be in October. So I think Ben just typed it wrong in the community transmission, but it's something like these sorts of things I feel like should have been communicated a little bit better. This shouldn't have happened. It should have been clearly stated that the skin will enter the game in September, but the actual event itself will be in October. Everyone assumed it would be in September because of what came out with the CT beforehand. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that to start with. And another thing is with the calendar itself is just the fact that this came out on the 11th of September. Bearing in mind this is a community calendar for the whole month, and the fact that there's only 30 days in September as well, the fact that the community calendar releases a third of the way through the month is disappointing for sure. It's not great to see things like this late. I mean, it's only a community calendar, so it's not something I paid that much attention to really, but it is just a little bit disappointing. I appreciate that they had EA Play, they had Gamescom and so on, and they have been a little bit slow behind those sort of months, so I can understand it. It is just a little bit disappointing sometimes when you kind of see these things. But going straight into the calendar anyway, obviously September 6th to the 8th we've already had. That was the Battle Point and the event for the reinforcements and the vehicles, 75% off them. I don't care for that event at all, I'm not going to lie. Events aren't really that interesting for me anyway, but yeah, just vehicles and reinforcements cheap. Vehicles are horrible. Reinforcements, getting them cheap is quite nice, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the vehicles at this moment in time. However, September 13th to the 15th, that's starting today, is a boots on the ground event. This one is actually interesting because it actually changes for me quite a lot. So this means that you will only be able to play as troopers and reinforcements in game modes of Galactic Assault and Capital Supremacy. This means that no heroes, and I think that probably counts vehicles as well, I think, but yeah, basically no heroes at all, maybe not vehicles as well, but this should be really interesting. Looking forward to playing this one actually, to be fair, but that's 17th to the 15th, so that's this weekend. Next weekend, September 20th to the 22nd, is No Match for a Good Blaster. So obviously last month they introduced the new event with Elegant Weapons, which is where you could only play heroes versus villains with lightsaber heroes. So this time it's only heroes versus villains, but with blaster heroes instead. Obviously the line being taken from Han Solo. So this should be really interesting as well. I don't really tend to play blaster heroes that much because I have a lot more enjoyment with saber heroes. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what we can get done here. I should make for some interesting gameplay. Obviously September 25th, which is just under 2 weeks now as well, is the cooperation update. Obviously this brings 2 new modes in co-op and instant action, as well as the planet of Felucia coming to Capital Supremacy and the Clone Commando reinforcement. So that should be a really solid update. I'm very excited for that, very keen to hear more, and obviously in the next part of the video there will be the Clone Commando CT, so I'm keen to get through that when it comes out because I'm recording this on the Thursday. And the last event of the September month is the September 27th to September 29th, the final weekend of the month, is a triple XP event in co-op. So something that's interesting about this as well is something Star Bazaar mentioned actually, is the fact that it seems like we will actually be going into the co-op mode actually using the reinforcements, the heroes, the troopers, all the star cards and levels we already have in the online side of things. So we'll be able to go straight into it and actually level up our troopers as well, which is really cool actually. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that with my friends. But yeah, that's a triple XP event only on the co-op mode, so that should be pretty good as well. That's the community calendar though, and obviously midweek XP boosts every Wednesday across all modes as well for double XP. Again, pretty nice thing to have. But yeah, I'd say despite it being late, this is one of my more favourite community calendars, I'd say. The reinforcements and vehicles event I don't like at all though. Boots on the ground should be really interesting, change up to the game. It actually really changes the gameplay of the mode, so that should be good. No Match for a Good Blast should be an interesting way to play HUV. Obviously a really solid update coming, so hopefully it will bring obviously some great content but also some good bug fixes. and then obviously a triple XP. You know, gotta love a triple XP. So that will be available on the co-op mode as well. So I'll probably be playing quite a bit of that on that weekend. But anyway, guys, that's the community calendar. So I'm going to jump onto the Clone Commando CT now. Okay, so with regards to the Clone Commandos, there's not really a lot of new stuff at all, so I'm just going to try and rattle through it pretty quickly. It gives a good description of the Clone Commando, so it just says the Clone Commando is a resilient fighter who is built for survivability, even against the toughest of foes. With the ability to reconfigure his blaster into a grenade launcher, he comes well equipped to handle any situation that he's dealt with. Should he find himself cornered or in need of making some space, he can use his repulsor blaster to knock enemies away. As a leader on the battlefront, he can strengthen himself and his allies by granting a damage protection buff using battle focus. So that's just a really quick summary of what the Clone Commando can do. It says obviously he's got his DC-17 M-Repeating Blaster, which was a unique weapon of the Clone Commando and became standard issue throughout the Clone Wars. Due to its ability to reconfigure into a grenade launcher, it's capable of fulfilling various combat roles. Its versatility makes it a dangerous weapon to come up against. So the three abilities are Anti-Armor Attachment, Battle Focus, and Repulsor Blast. The Anti-Armor Attachment is literally just basically barrage. Basically what it does is it adds this grenade launcher attachment onto the gun. There is an animation on there which is quite cool, but basically it will fire up to 3 shells, and once you finish with that, obviously the ability will be over. Once you fire 1 shell, there will be a really short animation to reload it with another shell up until you've finished. Obviously this will do more damage against vehicles than anything else, I think. I think against shields is quite effective as well, but that's basically just that ability. Then there's Battle Focus, where the commander goes into Battle Focus and immediately grants himself and allies around him a damage protection buff, which lowers all damage taken by 25%. Additionally, any damage the commander deals with will heal a percentage of his base health, which is pretty cool. I don't feel like we need another damage reduction in the game, to be honest. There's quite a lot of them already. But lastly, his right ability is Repulsor Blast. So this is where he just extends his left arm, discharges a shockwave from his arm-mounted repulsor, and that instantly knockbacks enemies to the ground. So kind of like, you know, Heroic Might from Anakin, but from a Clone Commando. Apart from, I don't think it's really going to deal any damage, and it will only just be in a small radius, not a whole circle. It will just be like in front of them. So that's basically all we need to know about the Clone Commandos. To be fair, there's a little bit of Gamescom progress as well, which is quite cool. So they've added the repulsor gadgets to the Clone Commando's arm, which is cool. So apparently they didn't have that before, I'm guessing. Further improvements and refinements to the abilities. Added a first version of a passive messaging system that shows allies and enemies that the Battle Focus buff is active. General balance tweaks. Updated icons for Battle Focus and Repulsor. So the ones that we see above are just from Gamescom, so they'll be changed. And they've tweaked the default look with the details added to key areas. So yeah, that's basically it for the Clone Commandos. Honestly, there's not really a lot to discuss at all. The Clone Commandos arrive to Star Wars Battlefront 2 on September 25th, along with Felucia for Capital Supremacy, the co-op mode, and instant action. But that's pretty much it though for this video, guys. Let me know what you think of the community transmission for the Clone Commandos and the community calendar. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.